from the class of 2009 to speak to us and give us some insights and reflections on their experiences in Year 12, the opportunities they had, the secrets to their success and their future plans. I would like to invite our Distinction in Studies or DUX recipient, Bronte Lambourne, to speak first. Bronte studied a variety of both science and arts-based subjects, including chemistry, physics, ancient history, religious education 2, and 3 levels of English up to Extension 2. She accelerated in Mathematics 2 Unit and Mathematics Extension 1. Bronte was highly involved in the school and is a talented debater. She has represented at both state and national debating competitions. Bronte will commence a Bachelor of International and Global Studies Law at Sydney University and has won a very prestigious and highly sought-after scholarship through the University of Sydney. Bronte, I would welcome you to come and speak to us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, teachers, parents and students. In reflecting today upon my own HSC year, I can't help but recall the many occasions over the past 6 years when I have sat exactly where you are today and wondered, what can I gain from the advice they're giving me? I've heard it all before. So instead, I thought I'd share with you the 5 worst pieces of advice I've ever been given in an attempt to dispel some of the common HSC myths. Myth 1. It's only years 11 and 12 that matter. How many times have you heard someone say, oh, why do we even bother in year 7 and 8? It doesn't even count. This is a major myth. I can categorically say that it is the small things I learned along the way that helped so much in my final year. Whether it was learning how to correctly structure an essay from Miss O'Connor in year 8, understanding the importance of safety goggles in the lab, learned in year 7 and trust me, still forgotten in year 12, or being reminded by every single teacher in KRB to read the question. The truth is that it's the consolidation of these little things that makes such an enormous difference in the end. When you do finally get to year 12, the message of starting early doesn't stop there. Trust me, Miss Ross isn't lying when she tells you that you must have completed 3 creative writing pieces and 2 belonging practice essays by the time you return. I'm not telling you to sacrifice the summer holiday on Bondi Beach, but that short time out of your 2-month break, ensuring you're as up to date as you possibly can in every subject will make a huge difference. The study notes will mean a lot more than the TAM when it comes to half yearlies. Myth 2. You should only choose high-scaling subjects. No doubt you have met those knowledgeable students who have informed you with a small smile that they study 4-unit maths, 4-unit English and extension history. Doing smart subjects doesn't make you smart. Fair enough if that's your passion and your skill, but if it's just to impress others, then you're really heading down the wrong track. Extension subjects scale well, but they are intensive and require a proportionate amount of dedication. So think about your motivation for choosing subjects. I know only too well that picking your subjects is a complex task. It's not just what subjects you choose, but the number of units you're willing to commit to. I would always advocate flexibility. CalB's acceleration program is fabulous in providing this and enabled me to study 15 units. Despite many people thinking I was absolutely crazy, this met my individual needs. Although I doubt I would have made it through the off-timetable classes without Miss Wrightson's bribes of Krispy Kreme donuts and pizza lunches, and Miss O'Connor's afternoon with Tim Tam and coffee, which would see the English department locking up well after nightfall. Having extra units is a wonderful backup. The subjects you would least expect are often the ones you will do your best in. This happened to me in my final year. I'd been disappointed with my chemistry marks and also discussed discontinuing ancient history with Mr. Tutakore as late as midterms, as I couldn't possibly see how I would use a subject that scaled so low. He urged me to continue, and what I learned was getting a very high grade in a lower scaling subject was just as valid as a good grade in a higher scaling subject. Ironically, the 2 subjects I seriously thought about discontinuing were the ones I achieved state rankings in. Myth 3. Set yourself realistic goals. Sounds reasonable, doesn't it? I disagree. Setting yourself realistic goals often sees the implementation of self-imposed limits. Why aim for 75 when there's always 100? Mr. Webber will confirm that I drove him insane over my goal setting as a result of the unfortunate UAI to ATAR changes, which saw a potential 100 slip from my fingers and dwindle to a 99.95. I always attempted to aim high, despite wondering how on earth I would get there. Even though Mr. Fitzsimmons scoffed at why I would be concerned over such a change, it was no doubt his Band 6 visualization figures plastered all over our diaries that were the driving force. When setting goals, knowing the intricacies of the HSC system, or at least attempting to untangle some of its complexities, was invaluable. Familiarity with the syllabus and expectations of the Board of Studies really does give purpose and understanding to your studies, as does knowing what marks you will need for each course and setting your goals accordingly. Myth 4. Your class notes and textbooks will get you through. You probably don't want to hear this, but this myth was definitely perpetrated by a wishful thinker. Now, if I asked you all to open your diaries and turn to page 20 of the pink section, I'd probably hear a grumble echo throughout the Hughes Centre. By now, you are all too familiar with the glossary of key terms, and have no doubt been asked by each individual teacher to read through this ad nauseum. If you scroll to the bottom of this page, you would find the term synthesize, putting together various elements to make a whole. The most invaluable study technique I can impart to you is to remember this when writing your notes. Read your textbook, read your syllabus, read your class notes, read every possible internet site, scholarly article, or study aid that you can get your hands on, because it's only by comparing different sources that you can correctly gauge what's important. And it's by taking the important elements of each that you create a whole. Myth 5. You won't have time for extracurricular activities in your HSC years. Without a doubt, this is the largest myth of all. Extracurricular involvement and balance in your social life is essential during your HSC. Year 12 does not need to be stressful. Getting involved in school events provides you with not only a break from your studies and support from friends, but helps to keep the HSC in perspective. Personally, being involved in debating enabled me to develop new skills, to travel, and eventually guided me in my choice of study at university. Debating at KRB made me aware of my own skills and interests. Friday night debates not only established close friendship bonds, it gave me the opportunity to be selected for the state debating team and to participate in the nationals. Whilst I was concerned by the incredible amount of time I had to commit to this in my HSC year, that was 10 hours practice session a week and a full week away in Adelaide a week before my trials, it proved to me invaluable in convincing me that what I enjoyed more than anything else was a good argument, which led me to study a combined degree of Law and International Global Studies at Sydney University this year. Ultimately, there are so many myths out there, and navigating your way through dot points, ATARs, and glossary terms can be a nightmare. But no doubt you will discover, as I did, that doing well in your HSC isn't just about those final exams. It's the study techniques you've refined over 6 years. It's the analytical skills you picked up from debating, and even those safety goggles you forgot to wear. Remember, who aims at excellence will be above mediocrity. Who aims at mediocrity will fall far short.